Well, my name's Tom Townsend.
I'm Ernie.
I'm Dan.
I'm Lee.
My name's Ben.
I'm Mark, I'm one of the musicians that worked on the Noise project.
The Noise Project is a project to take music provision to young people who don't necessarily have access to music, whether it be for geographical reasons or financial reasons. And it's sort of taster sessions of different kinds of music and different kinds of music practices.
So Noise has been a project funded through the Stephen Joseph Theatre to offer free music workshops across areas of the Yorkshire coast. And it brings a new musician each month to run completely free workshops for people between the ages of 8 and 19.
The best thing to learn about the drums in music is if you want to keep yourself in time, the best thing to do is count. Now, can you count to 4?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure? It's difficult. Basically, with drums, you count to 4 over and over again, basically. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're going to do is those 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Lovely.
I wanted to use local artists and I wanted to find the broadest variety and range of music practices that I could. Scarborough's very, very blessed to have an enormous range of musicians of different varieties. So I wanted to try and cover every possible genre. So some things will appeal to some young people and some to other young people.
I mean, we're lucky in Scarborough in that we've got some world-class musicians who live in the area. So, for example, Mark Gordon and Tom Townsend, so keyboard singers, songwriters, guitar players. But we also have a lot of sort of new modern technology musicians. So we've had Ben, who came and worked on creating music using iPhone apps. We had Lee coming in working on production techniques. And Norton coming in doing DJing. Ernie doing Brazilian drumming. So we've been really lucky with the wide range of musicians that we've had.
Well, I've lived in Scarborough since I was 9. I love the place. I think it's a fantastic town. For a town this size, it's got a huge music scene going on. There's a lot of very talented musicians, singers, songwriters, a lot of artistic people in Scarborough, and it's a great town to live in. So, all the time, again, it's like exaggerating the mouth, all right? We're warming up. To start with, the me, me, ma, we're warming up the lips. So instead of me, me, it's very different. Singing as a group is a very different thing to just singing on your own, and everybody can sing a song in the shower, that's absolutely fine. But when you have to start nailing it down so that you're phrasing everything together and that you're pitching everything correctly together, then it becomes a bit more difficult. So we did a lot of vocal warm-ups and had a bit of fun learning how to use our voices properly, and we learned song.
We looked for places that we felt were hard to reach for whatever reason, whether it be that the bus route is difficult, there isn't any public transport to get the young people into town, or that they aren't serviced by many other organisations or activities. So we tried to find places that we felt might enjoy having something on their doorsteps.
So areas such as Eastfield and Barrowcliff and some parts of Whitby, they've been identified as being areas which don't necessarily have much access to live arts in particular. So it's a way of engaging those communities, so not simply about giving them a musician to listen to, it's engaging them to develop their talents, pique their interest, and then hopefully get them involved in the arts themselves.
To see a project that goes into areas where, the kids there, they're playing in the parks and they're out and about, but there's nothing really for them to get in and get involved with. To take that out into these areas and offer them something that's completely different to what they would normally be doing, it's fantastic, it's brilliant. So when you record things in, they all come up like this, so they look like just blocks. So what I can do is I can listen to one thing at a time. So if I wanted to just listen to this piano, so we just listen to the piano. Okay. We've got some strings here as well, so if we just listen to this one by itself. So again, on its own, doesn't sound very good, does it? It's just like, But if we put those two together, we start to make a bit of an effect. So we start to make something else happen. It sounds much bigger, doesn't it? It sounds really big now. So whenever we're recording things, what we can do is we record one instrument in, then we record another instrument in, and another one, and we can build it up. I think in schools, this is no disrespect to schools whatsoever, what they tend to do is they have a strict curriculum and a strict program they have to keep to. And it is acoustic guitars, or it is listen to this music and it's this keyboard and you play this song, and it's very, very limited. I think to be able to show them this other side of music as well, which they maybe think, well, that's just what these professionals do and that's their artists, they do that. But to see that actually it's available to you as well, it's whatever you want to make it.
Yeah, my sort of introduction to music is very much from a sort of DIY, do-it-yourself sort of ethic. So it's sort of very important for me, coming from once a young person in this town, to pass it down and to show young people that it's that easy. You know, in sound system infancy, people did it with one turntable and a couple of speaker boxes. So it's just, in essence, I hope that by showing young people this, that they'll take it up. Turntables are cool, right? Because the music's present even if you don't actually have it turned on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason that vinyl is the best form of listening to music is because whether it's turned on or not, the music is present. You just have to put a needle on it and spin it to make it heard. I'm Dan, I'm a DJ, a sound system operator, and I do this for Stephen Joseph here to teach kids about DJing, whether it be analogue, vinyl, etc. You know, quite a little bit about effects processing, that sort of stuff. Yeah, but we'll look at how to put a tune on, how to cue one up, and we're going to look at how to drop the bass. Like when you do, because like we said, the bass is the bit that everyone likes, it's really good to play a bit of the song without it first, and then when you bring it in, so turn that right way to the bottom there. So once we've done that, we're going to get the echo chamber and the siren out, which is the best bit. We'll see where we go from there, some other bits to show you as well.
Okay, so we're on our way to pick up Ben for the first of the cycle of digital music making using iPads and iPad apps. And I have absolutely no idea what we're doing today, which is really quite exciting. All I know is it's digital music making.
What we're going to be doing in my sessions is working with iPads to create music, to create beats and songs and generate lyrics, improvise and compose in any kind of music, any kind of genre.
Feel famous.
Yeah. That's where it begins.
Yeah, right, cool. This is the making of, like Spinal Tap.
First, slightly overkill on the van, but it's the only transport that theatre has. It was really useful when we did drumming.
Yeah, I bet,
but
yeah,
beyond
yeah.
that, it's been kind of like, it's a bit big, but
Yeah.
We've got 4 circles, we've got red, yellow, blue and green. I'm going to put 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So you can see we've got a bar, this is time coming around, and we've got 4 beats, and there's actually 16 circles going around. Now, what's your name? CJ, I'd like you to add 4 notes anywhere you want. Fantastic. Now then, Liana, I'd like you to add 4 more in any of these other circles. So I'm really interested, because not everyone's got access to instruments, not everyone's got the time or the incentive to spend an hour a day for a year practicing to get to the point where they can really express their music, where their instrument is an extension of them. So how can we very quickly allow the music that's inside of us to get outside? And music technology is a great way to do that, you know, using drum machines, using 8 tracks, but You know, I'm not a technology person. You know, this is my phone. Where's my phone? This is my phone, you know, but the iPad can do things that nothing else can, in that you can create a song that sounds really good, that you've got control over within, well, definitely within a day, probably within an hour.
I think there's something really instant about modern technology, that you get a kind of instant feeling that you've achieved something in a way that with a tuned instrument it takes a lot more time and practice to realise, you know, something that feels significant. So with digital music and with the iPad, particularly the garage music, there was a real sense of instantly making music and being able to create music, and that there's something much more in the moment creating music that way.
We've learned a lot from which of the music sessions are the most popular, which ones we want to try a little bit more. We know that the digital music making is incredibly popular and it's really accessible. Nowadays, almost everybody has a phone of some sort, and all the phones are smart. A hell of a lot smarter than mine or me. And you can very easily, very cheaply, or sometimes free, get apps which allow you to create original music. So clearly that's an area which is really good for us when we're trying to engage young people in music, so that when we leave, actually we leave the young person with something which they can then continue with.
Yes, it's been absolutely brilliant. We have worked with hundreds of young people over the course of it on different days in different places all over Scarborough, Whitby, and we will soon be taking it to other venues as well within the town. We think it's been very successful in encouraging young people who might not always participate in activities to come and try things out, and the idea that taking something out to people rather than people having to come to us has definitely worked.
Things have progressed pretty much as we kind of hoped. There's been a gentle pickup in numbers, which has always been good. More importantly, those people who've come to one session have continually started to come back. So we've started having regulars who are coming every month to try something new. We have a variety of different people coming and working. So we had the return of Tom Townsend. We had Dan Norton coming back to do more DJing because the first session was so successful. And yeah, and mostly a lot of driving. I've done a lot of driving around the coast. And so I've got very used to lifting and humping sort of music kit out of the back of the van. I'm kind of almost an honorary roadie now.
And hopefully what will happen is that any of the young people who've engaged with it will come to us for other reasons. They might want to come and join one of our choirs, or they might say, oh, I really liked that ukulele class. Can we have more of that? And if that's the response we get, then we'll look at ways of making more regular provision of a specific thing. Obviously, we need to find more funding to do those kind of things, because with noise, the beauty of it is that it's been free to access, so no one's had to pay to participate in the workshops. So the idea is, if we want to continue it, we'd like to find funding to, if it's, you know, whatever area people have been interested in, we try and find a way of making a more regular commitment to that particular thing.
Finally, why do you think it's important that everyone has access to music?
For me, music is a universal language. All across the world, there is some form of music. You know, from chants in the football field to people on the streets who've drunk a lot of lemonade, cheering or anything like that. Music is something that anyone can access. You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be from different ethnicities, whatever. Every single person on this planet can access music in some way, and I think it's a very beautiful thing, you know, a beautiful art form.
Well, I suppose noise is just that. It's about making noise. It's something we can do. Everybody can make noise. So I kind of think it's that. It's about saying it's speaking out loud. It's being loud about the fact we need arts, we need music, we need that wonderful stuff in everybody's lives. And especially in these days when access to music and the arts in education is getting more and more pressured, I think it's more and more important that organisations such as the Stephen Joseph Theatre, with support from its various funders, really do step in and say, we think this is important. This is stuff everybody has a right to. And it's important that people see what's out there. There's an old joke by Billy Connolly, and he talks about people in Glasgow in the shipyards when he was growing up. He said, how would any one of those known that they were a natural tobogganist because they'd never even seen a toboggan. Yeah, actually, it's similar with this. Some of the people, the young people we meet, how would they know that they are a natural DJ unless they're actually given a chance? And I think that's what's really important.